Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this evening's live AY program here in Mount Peace, Hanover. We are about to start with our AY program going into the topic drug use and abuse. And of course, it's a very interesting topic, very entertaining, and we're going to break it down on all levels because we have a lot of primary school age children here today, and we're just going to let them understand what is drugs, what causes people to use drugs, how it is that drug affects our body, what are some examples of drugs, and then of course we'll go into some discussion to delve deeper into the topic. So I'm excited because we have two very entertaining groups that are coming up. Group one will be telling us what is drug and also what causes persons to use drug. And as group one comes along, I'm delighted to have you here. Thanks for coming. I'm delighted that you decided to be here and do have yourself a wonderful afternoon. I hope you learned something.
Drugs are substances that affect the brain. People can use it for pleasure.
People use drugs because of peer pressure. When friends make you do something you don't want to do. People use drugs to people use drugs to feel better.
Amen. People traffic drugs to make money. First Corinthians 6 and verse 19 and 20. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own, for ye are God's with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God.
Take your water. Water.
Yo, come here. Want to split?
No,
What do you know? Come to this one. Make you feel nice.
no,
You don't feel, oh,
bad for the brain.
we would make you make you feel good.
I do not want.
What do you mean you don't want this? Come kiss mine.
No, want them?
No,
What do you mean you don't want to? Please, say you don't want to. You don't want to be good?
no.
No, 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 no. You're a good one. You want it.
My Maker and my King, to thee all I owe. Thy sovereign bounty is the spring when all my blessings flow. Thy sovereign bounty is the spring when all my blessings flow. The creature of thy hand, on thee alone I live. My God, thy benefits and more praise than I can give. My God, thy benefits and more praise than I can give. Lord, what can I impart when all is thine before? Thy loving hands of thankful heart, the gifts thou hast from Thy loving hands of thankful heart, the gifts I have poured. Oh, let thy grace inspire my soul with strength divine. Let every word and each teaser and all my days be done. Let every word and each teaser and all my days be done.
And I do it.
Such wonderful display from group one, wasn't it? They did indeed define what is drugs, and they looked at the causes of drugs. And I think it's riveting to see that very young and talented youths and children coming up here to look at what is drugs and to delve into topics and things that they see every day but just cannot explain. And this is why we have this program. So the second group is coming up, and I'm excited to see them. They're going to talk about the effects of drugs and some examples of drugs, just to break it down for you.
So, so the effects of drugs. Drugs eat away the walls of the lungs. It destroys the nervous system. It causes the trembling of the body. It causes also headaches and wakefulness. So people who do drugs have a hard time sleeping. The Spirit of God cannot come to our help and assist us in perfecting Christian characters while we are indulging our appetite in the injury of our health.
The scripture reading is taken from Proverbs 20 and verse 1. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. The next scripture reading is taken from Proverbs 31 and verse 6.
Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy.
One. Two.
Hello. Hi. You know some best friend send me? I'm never one call. What is wrong? I don't know.
No, that.
And you're the doctor. Yes. What's wrong with me? It looks like you have the brain. For that, you will need to stop drinking. No, but it's my best friend. But you said your best friend sent you here. Yeah. And drinking is your best friend? Yeah. So drinking sent you here? Why? May I know? You have the brain problem and you need to stop drinking. No. You need to stop drinking. No. Drinking damages your brain. How do you know that? Well, I just told you,
Okay.
Mr. Manon, you can leave me and stop drinking. No. Hello? And what is your problem? I can't stop smoking. Why is that? I don't know. Why did you start if you can't stop? Uh-oh. Uh, you need to stop smoking because it damages your lungs and you might have lung cancer. Okay. You can leave now and stop smoking.
Ano, what's it about? Away with him.
Hello? Hi. What is your problem? Well, it looks like you have drugs in your hand. Why are you doing drugs? Why did you start doing drugs? Well, drugs damage your kidney. So you need to stop your brain. Yes. So you need to stop doing drugs. You can leave now and stop doing drugs.
I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore. My Redeemer says within, sinking to rise no more. God, the Master of the sea, hear my despairing cry. From the water lifted me, now safe I
Good afternoon again, everyone. So as you heard, the topic for this afternoon is drug use and abuse. And that is something we don't normally discuss with children because it's a hard topic, right? But what I noticed is that growing up, they're doing things that they can't readily name, and they're doing things they can't explain, but it's being done, and they don't know sometimes how wrong it is. And so, as a church, I believe it's our task to educate them on the rights and the wrongs in society. Yes? Yes? Yes. So we have a room in mind just in case anybody wants to join the discussion. We're starting with the introduction of our panel. So starting with the gentleman on my left.
Uh, John says, it seems.
Introduction. You have to tell them your name.
My name is Joy Davis. I'm the pastor for the Chambersburg District of Churches.
And the gentleman on my right.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brother Sinclair, and I'm one of the leaders here at Monkeys.
And the elder for Youth Month.
So correct.
My name is Ayana Sukul. I'm one of the elders for Youth Month as well. So we're starting with the opening remarks from Pastor Davis on my left. Go ahead.
Right. So I was saying that drugs, it's not that simple or easy as for one may think. Drugs vary, and it's dangerous. And as a church, we are part of society, and drugs does affect all of us in society. And this afternoon, we want to maybe not deep, but on the surface level of the causes, the effects, and how we as a church can play our part into assisting our young people into making the right choice.
And the opening remarks from Brother Sinclair.
And as you rightly said earlier, it's a hard topic. However, it is not something that we should allow to go by and not discuss among our youth and even our children, because in today's society we see where so many of our children have been using drugs, and believe it or not, even our Adventist followers have been affected and affected so bad by it.
I think that's true, and the children came up with a definition of drug, but allow me to add it's anything that changes the way the body normally functions. So if it is that your body knows what it wants, that's the thing, children. Your body, you have to listen to it. It knows what it wants. And sometimes your body wants, say, 8 hours of sleep. You go to bed early, you get up early. But you want to go to bed late, and so you may drink like an energy drink or caffeine or coffee. You want to hear people drink coffee, and to you it's normal to persons outside, but really it affects how the body feels, right? Normally, a human has numerous emotions. So you feel sad, you feel happy, you feel angry. What other emotions you have? No other emotions, nobody don't feel anything? You feel scared, anxious, right? And when you feel that way, it's okay to feel that way. And so what a lot of people do, as I think it was Noah who made the point that people take drugs to feel better. And so when they're feeling sad or they're feeling anxious, they're feeling scared, they're feeling angry, they take drugs to make them feel better and happy. or make them forget how they're feeling right now.
I guess since they're so cool, sometimes they think that the drugs will help them.
Right, they think that the drugs will help them.
Right. It doesn't really make them better, but it is their mental capacity at the time they assume that it will.
Right. So if you recall one time you felt sad or scared and you just wanted to feel better. But here's the important thing about being human. You have to be able to feel everything. You have to be able to feel sad, you have to be able to feel angry, you have to be able to feel scared. It doesn't make you a bad person, but it makes you human. And so when you take drugs and you drink or you smoke, and it makes you feel better for a little tinge, or makes you forget what you're feeling now, then you don't have the necessary things you need to do when another time comes up, because life is like that. So you don't feel bad now and then you never feel bad again. Because you feel bad now, you might feel bad next week, and people take drugs this week, take drugs next week to prevent that, right? But in truth and in fact, drugs do not make you feel better in the long run, because it does not teach you how to cope with how you feel, right? So you don't know how to handle it. That's your point.
Just before the point, and for our viewers' sake, we are not talking about medication here when we make reference to drugs or make a feel better or what. We are talking about hard drugs, whether it is marijuana, crack, cocaine, and any of those drugs in that form. Not about medication here.
Right. Yeah, I see your point. No? Alright, we're going faster.
No, I was saying we first must look at some of the drugs that is prevalent in our society, like the tobacco and the marijuana.
Gotcha.
Right. And sometimes we spoke about earlier in terms of peer pressure. But I want to add to that while peer pressure is a contributing factor toward abusive drugs, we must also look at broken homes. And as Brother Cynthia says earlier, they want to feel good, so they take it. And I want my young folks to understand that even when you take it, believing that you will feel good, you will not feel good. What drugs does, it I heard Ayana mention it earlier, will disturb the functioning of the body for a while. After that, now the body will get back to the normal functioning. So don't say I'm going to take drugs because I want to feel better and so forth. So you have to have a mind of your own and to realize that drugs don't really help you. It is just something that will disturb the function of the body.
Right. And as you mentioned peer pressure, I want everybody to understand, the children to understand what peer pressure is. Anybody know what peer pressure is? Yes? Counseling and Uncle. Good. You had a point? Sasha? Well, just let them respond and then we can have a point. You know what peer pressure is? What is peer pressure?
When your friends tell you something that you don't want to do.
Right, when your friends want to make you do something that you don't want to do. And so sometimes in our society, we have children, and I see them a lot, they're taking touch appointments and then leaving. We see a lot, I see a lot of children. Amor, you had a point? Oh, you were answering the question. All right, so even in here in Mount Peace, we have some I've seen where I see 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds on the corner smoking and drinking. And sometimes it's not really them wanting to do it, but it's their friends say, come on, come, have a drink, and everybody's doing it, and you think it's okay. When it's okay not to do what everybody else is doing. All right? Right. So if your friends come to you and say, take your drugs, man, take your drugs, you will feel good, you will feel, be the one person that says no. And if they don't take no for an answer, walk away. You don't have to be their friend. Because if you tell them no and they don't respect your no, they're not your friend anyway. I take in Sasha, Lenivia, Ariana. Okay.
Peer pressure is when someone is forcing you to do something that you know you shouldn't do.
Right. And you know you shouldn't do it. So even though we're giving you the knowledge and we're giving you the skills to go out there and be able to say no to people.
Peer pressure is when your friends force you to do something that is wrong.
Right. Sasha, and then Sia, Sia.
Alright, so I'm not talking about peer pressure now. You were saying something about alcohol. The effect that alcohol has on the body because you know the normal signs where don't drink and drive. The very fact that you take alcohol, your body's not able to perform the usual way. So if you drink and then you drive, more than likely you're going to end up in an accident because your body doesn't react the same way how you would if you did take such a substance. The other thing I was going to say is that after taking these substances, because while you're taking it and you might feel high, you may do things that you wouldn't do. So you may act a certain way, you may dance and expose yourself and things like that. And then when you get sober now, this more likely turns out to be very embarrassing for you. When you look back and you remember all the things that you've done and even things that you've said, it causes you to be very embarrassed about yourself.
That's true. Let's say Brother Slava before we move along.
Indeed, drugs is a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
The command on drugs and alcohol, you have to be careful of anything in your body. Because if you're not careful, you lead yourself the devil in hell now. When I do my surgery, I'm not knowing nothing at all when I think of cocaine. Nothing at all. The drugs are dangerous thing. I'm glad can't bring about that. You have to just take it easy.
Right, and even as we mentioned that we have something called drug misuse. And you have drug abuse and then you have drug misuse. Drug misuse is when the doctor gives you a pill. Anybody ever been to the doctor and they get a pill or a prescription? Nobody ever get a pill at the doctor, right? And it makes you feel good and it makes you, the doctor say, oh, it's gonna make you feel a bit lightheaded. And you get so, you feel like, oh, this feeling is so nice that afterwards you continue to use it even when you don't need to use it. So be careful of that too, because Brother Siaga said that he went to surgery, and usually they give you a drug for surgery. So some people afterwards, the doctors will give you painkillers, and some people take painkillers even when there's no pain. So be careful of that as well, children. Don't drink, what do you call it? The sorrow, what do you call it, the Panama sorrow?
DPH.
The DPH. Don't drink the DPH because it tastes sweet and nice. And then afterwards, when you really have cold, it now work because your body is now used to the DPH.
Sister Soto, I can attest to the DPH because I was at work once and there was an individual that the doctor prescribed DPH for, and that individual asked another coworker of mine to give him the DPH because he's not getting it when he really needed it. But the thing about it is not really of the sickness that he really needed DPH for. Because when I went to where he was, all the other inmates there have a little DPH sipping. So it wasn't being used at that time for meditation purpose, but it would be like the use of drugs to, as what they would say, to do that vibe.
And I think too, a lot of parents and parents don't do this. When they want to go to the party or they want to go out, they give their baby BPH so they can sleep through the night. And that's very, very dangerous because that baby can wait. You don't know what can happen, and that baby will be all alone. Anything can happen. The house can catch a fire. Somebody can come and break in. Anything can happen to that baby. The baby can jump off of the bed, and you give them DPH and then go out because they want to go out. They don't want anybody to leave the baby with. And that's getting them used to drugs because when they grow older, it damages their brain. All of a sudden, you see this baby turn into a toddler, turn into a child, and they sleep. And then you go leave them and say, what if they sleep every minute? When you used to give them BPH to go to the party.
Just before we take the hands, as you mentioned that we have some parents, and listen to this, my young folks. Don't, when your parent asks you to go and buy a cigarette and the marijuana, tell them one, it is illegal for you to buy, and two, you just don't want to do it. The challenge in Jamaica is that we have parents who will send their 5, 6, and 7-year-old to go and buy cigarettes. So as you were mentioning, getting hooked, later on they believe that it's the norm because everybody and daddy and mommy send me to buy a shopkeeper who sells a child drugs. That's illegal. So the child have that in mind that it's a norm. Because of that, when they are 11 and 12, you find that they want to experience it because guess what? I saw daddy and mommy doing it, so it must be right. So I'm saying to my young friends, tell them no. And to the parent, it's illegal in Jamaica for a child under 18 years old to buy a cigarette at any shop or a supermarket, and it is illegal, and it's something that we must counter. All right?
Pastor, I really glad you bring that up because I don't think that is something that is really enforced by EU or law enforced officers here because so often you see even the owner of the shop sending his or her little son or daughter to sell alcohol, to sell a cigarette. And that also is illegal, not only for the parents to send them to buy, but for the owner to send a child to serve or to sell that drugs. It is illegal, and I don't see where the law has been enforced much on that. And I think that is something that needs to be addressed by our law enforcement here in Jamaica.
I think so too. And while we take Sasha's point, I want the little boys know and LJ, Jake to notice that when you go to the shop and the men at the shop say, come taste a tip of the rum, man. Come, because they think that it's an induction into manhood. It doesn't make you a man, no, LJ and Jake. Are we listening? LJ? Are we listening? It doesn't make you a man to take a sip of the rum. You can't tell them no. Because a lot of times people think that even if it's not their child, they just sit there and think that okay, they need an induction into man. So they come and say, come take a sip of the rum, man. Take a draw. Come man, you're not gonna kill you. And it shows that in fact, in the long run, it will affect you, even in the short run, because you're still in school, your brains are still young, your brains are still developing. And it will affect you really bad.
And just to put such a excellent point, it's a true story. Growing up, and we were attending primary school. But this guy, he started smoking from about 11, and he died maybe 19, 20 years old. And when they did the autopsy, both lungs were black, and it was caused from early smoking. So while we believe, okay, then nothing won't happen. Who's on down, they always say in Jamaica, don't have the same love. If you start smoking early, it can it will shorten your life, my little friends. So don't let anyone introduce you to smoking to say you're gonna turn a man or woman. No, it's not. So please shy away from that. And those who are smoking around young children, it shouldn't be, right? It shouldn't be. And children, whenever you see someone smoking, stay far from it because the second smoking is dangerous just as the smoking. So please stay away from those who are smoking. When they are smoking.
We know what Sasha was on the topic, smoking and stuff. If you're at a location and someone comes here and starts smoking like in a taxi or something like that, don't be afraid as a child to tell them not to do it. Because you're in the breathing space, you're in the breathing space, and you are entitled to have some freedom. So if they're smoking in your area, let them know that smoking kills and you don't want to inhale such a substance. Also, as I was talking about alcohol and stuff like that, but like the BPH and stuff, I want to move a little further as it regards to the intake of harmful substances from mothers to children. Those who are pregnant and they are taking these substances, it may bring harm to the children. Even the child who is within the mother's womb, after birth, it may cause some defect. So their brains may not be formed properly, they may be handicapped, a lot of things can go wrong. They may have some issue with their lung color. It is very harmful. So if you are a child and you will see your mother may not be in the church and she's taking these substances, don't be afraid to say to your mother, it may happen that my little brother and my little sister may become handicapped because they're taking these substances.
And I think it's important for our children to know that they can talk to their parents, and big people don't always know what's right. So it's okay to tell them that, hey, I can be affected by you smoking around me, right? Whether it's your mother or your father. We're moving to effects. What are some effects that drug use have on the body? What are some effects? We went into some earlier where the doctor was telling her patients that you can have brain damage and you can have lung damage from smoking. What are some other effects that smoking have on the body, the mind, and even we'll delve into the spirituality of it a bit later.
Well, as for me, in our society today, it is very shocking to see the amount of young persons that are attending mental health clinics. Bridget, it is somewhere that I happens to go so often because of work and the amount of young persons, especially males, and they will tell you it all started from some form of drug, especially the smoking. And it was upon Wednesday of this week that while one of the individuals were there talking with the doctor, and he acknowledged, he agreed that that's where it really starts from. And if he did have the time or could bring back time, he would definitely do so because it is very dangerous. And he said, whenever he is given the opportunity, he will take it as advantage to educate those who we come in contact with who are smoking and let them know the danger of it. And also, I was talking to a friend recently, and he said, no, listen, nobody who tell us that you smoke weed and wellness. It is something that is within your mind. You don't have to smoke. He is someone that smoke weed. And he is telling me that you don't have to smoke. It is you tell yourself that you have to do it. And smoking and what you are holding on it is not a good stuff. Because if you are there sitting down and not doing anything, it's like your mind gonna start thinking. Just like if you are there smoking and only you are there doing is smoking. So it's like your mind just start thinking. He said that's it. It is no different. It is coming from someone that smokes. I've never smoked, so I'm
Alright, we're letting you off the hook. Brother Steve, we're letting you off the hook. We never think that you will talk about, but alright. So like a guilty conscience.
No. I said that because I don't have the experience. But he was saying, it's like when you're there meditating, it's because you have nothing else to do. So it's like your mind is just thinking.
Oh, all right. And what are some effects do you think that smoking, well, drug use on a whole has on the body, Pastor?
One of the research that I've browsed through showed that there's an increase in heart disease because those who are smoking, and that's one, heart and lung disease, for those who are drug addict, and also you may say no, Pastor, it's not true. But if you are a smoker, hear this, and a non-smoker, both of you goes to an interview, the employer will choose the non-smoker over the smoker. So not only those jobs affects the body, but also the total well-being also, and it also leads to poverty. But for the body, yes, it has contributed to mental illness, because if you realize those who smoke, their reasoning ability have dropped. Their eyes are red, and approach say they say you say something, and they quick. They are so agitated. They want to. Don't say anything to me and stuff like that. Their reasoning ability has dropped. So it affects the body physically and also emotionally.
Right. Just to give you a true story, there was one time that we had a person within the ceremony neighborhood, and we were all going to the river, the entire family. And we went to the river, and for those who know Kappa, there is the little bitty part, the part that you can stand up in if you're tall enough, and Kappa, that's deep. You only can go in it if you swim. And I remember we were going in and out of Kappa, we were swimming through, diving up, diving down, and there was this one particular individual that smokes a lot, and he was there. And he was watching us going in and he said, boy, no one going. And the two tools returned back by the time we looked, that's him in the river, in Kappa. And he could not swim. And so he started drowning. And I was so terrified because I don't know if I'm a strong enough swimmer to save somebody else along with myself. And luckily Ashton was there and Ashton jumped right in and saved the person. But to tell you that in his right mind, he would not have gone into Kappa because you cannot go in if you cannot swim. There's nowhere foot is touching the ground. It's way down, it's far down, it's deep. And so, being that he was under the influence, he jumped right in without reasoning to himself that it's me and I can't swim. And he was drunk. And if there wasn't any one of us that could save him, it would probably be a tragedy. Right? So it does affect your mind. It's real, it's out there, and we're saying this to you because we want the best for you. Now, what are some things that we talked a lot about the effects, we talked a lot about the cause, but what are some things that we can do as children of God and as youths of God to avoid using drugs? Because it's out there, it's real, it's tempting, especially when you go to parties and you're around your friends, and eventually you grow big enough to go around your friends and go out, and everybody's drinking and smoking, and you probably want to do it. Right. So what do they do now to actively prevent themselves from using the drug?
For one, it's self-esteem. I believe that once all morals are high, we have good self-esteem, we can do that because the fact is that you will not find a perfect home. We are not living in a perfect society. Things do happen. We have children who are coming from broken home, children who don't know how to deal with failures. And because of that, they become attached to something or someone. So they believe that they can get better from it. How can we avoid that? It's one, self-esteem, focus on our health, do exercise and stuff like that. But it's a challenge, we have to. I would say pray about family like that. We have to do something and work hard. So once we realize that listen, all of this have so much to deal with us, and stop the blame game and so forth and build good self-esteem.
I think that's very important. We go into Sasha, then we head to Elder Sinclair.
I would say choose your company wisely. Because if you stay away from the company of persons who drink and smoke and those things, then you will not be tempted that much to do things like that. So I would say you need to choose the correct company.
That's correct. While we're waiting, if anybody else, Brother Siaga, we take Elder Sinclair and then Brother Siaga.
Right. As Sasha touched on main point, because the person that you may hang out with or spend time with, and if that person that you have drugs in its any form, that can be a defeat for you, because someone that smoke and you don't, and then it is that person you feel comfortable around. How can that be a gain for you? So I guess our friends should be choosing wisely, and person who we hang out or even go out with. I'm telling you, the way I ate smoking virgin, if I'm driving down the road and if it is a family member and that person sees me coming and out with cigarette or with split and stop me, honestly, I'm not going to. I am not going to, because that's how much I'm not in smoking. I am not saying if the person smoke, I will carry, but if I see him smoking at the time and he has just opened it, I can't stand the smell of it. So I'm not going to stop.
I think both points are important because when you know yourself, then I think each of you will discover who you are, who is Amoy, who is Princess, who is Ariana, who is Noma, who is LJ, who is Sergey. Everybody will discover who they are at some point. And when you know who you are and you have that high feeling about yourself, trust me, you won't put anything in your body to destroy it. And Sasha and Elder Sinclair made a solid point that you have to choose good friends, right? But even if you're friends with Amoy and Aaron as friend, and all of a sudden Aaron don't want to drink, doesn't mean you're going to drop her. But it means that you're going to say to her, Irena, I don't want to drink and I don't think you should be drinking either. Right? Because anybody can fall short at any point in time. And it's up to us to help them to be better. Brother Siaga.
Yeah. Sometimes I say, right now, the devil have no young people in me. Right now, lots of young people, you have to talk to them about the jokes and they're not hearing. Right now, back on me, some of them go one way back to smoke, and right now, we have them weak right now in the world. One word, full of the jokes, smoke, and they're not hearing. The young people cannot talk to them. So sometimes I'm friend, and they mind.
And that's what we're saying, what Pastor mentioned, how they feel about themselves. Because sometimes they have issues that they don't tell you about, and they're feisty about it and they're angry, but really and truly they have real issues that they're dealing with that they cover up with their smoking and drinking and being rude. Right? Just looking at how it is that we can help our young people and children to say no to drugs. Right? So follow me closely. This is your brain. There are different parts to your brain. And there's a part that of your brain, when you do stuff that you like, it releases something called dopamine. And notice how we're close to dope, as in cool, dope, okay. Dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good hormone. We call it the feel-good hormone. It's what releases when people do things they like. So when people smoke and they say, oh, I'm supposed to like smoking, dopamine goes and feel good. So dopamine goes whoosh, and you start feeling good. But here's how you can not smoke. And if you use drugs, if you drink or you smoke, there's no judgment here. But this is how it is that you get back to the place where you're not drinking and smoking, or you don't drink and smoke. You do other things that will release dopamine. So if it is, for example, you like doing TikTok videos, and that makes you feel good and dopamine is released, instead of doing drugs and drinking and smoking, you do a TikTok video. Could be something positive, could be something nice. If it is that you like to watch movies and you are in a situation where you want to buy, when you grow older and you're allowed to buy liquor, or you see a father cigarette and you want to try it out, instead of trying it out, you go do something you like and release dopamine. You get it? If it is that you like to play football or you like to hang out with your friends, your accountable friends, you go around your friends. So it makes you alright with around Sasha. And curfew is at 6, which means that if you leave Sasha house 5:45, I'm gonna reach up on me at 6 o'clock, I cannot go anywhere to buy any drink or smoke. Right? So you do those things to make yourself feel better. If you're in a situation and person say, hey, you want to drink and smoke and have a good time, you want some coke, you want to sip something, you say no. No. I think we have a problem as human beings saying no. And it's okay to say no, even if they're not gonna like you, you know, business. They should be able, as your friends, to hold you at no. They should be able to respect your no because you are different persons. And if they don't respect you, and they say, come on, try thing, man. You walk away. You leave. You go away. You run away if you have to. So no, man. No, I don't want that thing there. I go by this, I go by that thing, you see me? And you go elsewhere. Right? So these are ways you can, per first of all, identify what causes drugs, what are drugs, effects of drugs, and how it is that you can find ways to prevent yourself from using drugs. And if you have already started using drugs, how it is that you can come back to not using drugs. Now we're going to take the final thoughts because curfew is coming and we don't want to keep anybody. So we're going to take just the final thoughts before we close out. I see anybody have a hand on the floor before we move to the panelists? Anybody wants to make a final thought or say anything? All right, so we're moving to Brother Steve there.
Okay, the final point is trafficking. Trafficking of drugs, and some people see it as a pleasure because that's where the money comes in. That's where the big bucks comes in. However, you can pay dearly with life, with your freedom, or even with your family or friends, or even your spouse life. Several persons today have lost their freedom because of trafficking of drugs. And it all started about a solemn invitation how you can make some money. Either one to pick up a suitcase at a hotel room, you will get a free plane ticket with a hotel room overseas where you can spend a week or 2 weeks, and then you can gain a portion of money that can offer you a car when you get back, or for you to build a room or whatever. And they are not telling you the danger or the negative part of it when you get caught. So many persons I've seen cry like a baby because that didn't break down to them. They were only told that they were able to pick up these 6 or 7 bottles or 10 bottles that contains maybe shampoo or champagne or tin of cheese, and the list goes on. Not knowing the content of it and the end result for them to lose their freedom. Sometimes persons even make threatening phone call to their family members for them to pay what they have lost, or else you know what. I say that to say this, young people, it is good when you can satisfy with what you have, what your parents can afford you with until better comes. I told an individual once that I learned to satisfy with not at all. So there is nothing that we can brag with. And that individual laughed, and every time he sees me, he will say something, and over a period of time, he eventually called me uncle, because the level of respect he ended up to have for me because of that one stand that I made on that day. I'm not saying everybody is like me. However, challenges come in different ways. And when it comes to drugs and trafficking, you have to have a mental mind of yourself where you can stand on your own and say no. Because if not, if you only say you are only doing it one time, that's it. You are hooked for life. Only God Himself will be able to take you out of that situation. Because if you take up the opportunity one time, it will only get sweeter. Because the love of money is the root of all evil, and the money will always be something that you crave for. Person leave Canada, England, being offered a vocation in Jamaica, just to deliver something here. Don't even know what the real purpose is. Even though sometimes they may have doubt and some may even know, but they give chances. However, the end result will cause them their freedom. And it even cost them loyalty. When you get locked up, real drugs, and a lawyer being told it is trafficking, it's a joy for a lawyer because drugs are money. So even a charge you an extra 20, 30, or 40% of what a regular fee would be because of drugs and drugs come with money. And then you as an individual, sometimes you didn't have it from the first place. And that person will give you that link. You get us in the business with you again. So who will pay that fee? You have to depend on family members or friends, or you have to go legally. And when it comes to drugs, it has to be you pay the cost.
Thank you. I believe that it must be a combined effort between society, society, community, and parenting. The church must play its part in that educate all young children from as early as 4 or 5 the importance of not taking drugs, or we must help them to define what is drug abuse and stuff like that. What is not normal and what is abnormal. In the church start here because they have children who are coming from home who parents are struggling to be parents. As a church, I believe that we can do more, spend time talking about children, have the conversation with them, empower our children ministries, leaders, and support them to help them understand and to teach children. What we need is for the government to enforce some of the laws of our country. In that, I heard UNICEF talking about giving children the right for education and stuff, the right to be protected. But if you can have a child around persons who are smoking and police will say anything, if a child can show up at a shop and say 72 cigarettes and the shopkeeper just willingly sell the child the cigarette. It's a problem. The society needs to place emphasis, just like how we are placing emphasis on human rights and the rights of a child and stuff like that. We need to emphasize on it as individual adults who know better. We don't see these things, we must talk about and remind those who are doing it to stop, right? And for parents, and that's where we are lacking in society. We don't have, believe it or not, we don't have good parents. Well, let me not use one paintbrush to paint everybody. Some parents, they are not ready for parenting, right? Because even if you are smoking, at least you can hide and do follow the child, be exposed to it. You can't be sitting at the back door and the child come and say, Daddy, I'm hungry, and you have you can't one in your mouth and one in your ear. The child will just automatically gravitate to what he or she sees.
Pastor, you have some so directly in the child's face.
Right. So parent, you have a role to play. We don't exist in our vacuum. So this job is we have to train our children. Because we can say, okay, then, but okay, this job, but we use it to pull our teeth and stuff like that. So, first, if you differentiate, help differentiate between misuse of drugs compared to using for health purpose. While some medication have effects and the body, because you notice sometimes when you go to the doctor will give you instead of one prescription, but we have more than one medication on it, because one has to counteract the other. So those are how we can, as I mentioned earlier, misuse of it if we are not careful. So you must know, don't just take what the doctor says. Ask the doctor the question, what are the side effects, and why do I need for medication for a headache or for pain? I said, why do I need to? So you ask the doctor the question. And how to prevent out of this is to meditate, keep a high self-esteem, exercise, eat right, know who you are and who you belong to. I believe that some of us as young people, we don't know who we belong to or who we are. We are still struggling to find our identity, because we just find ourselves somewhere trying to be somebody. So because of that, they tend to turn, because one day they feel good, and some jobs make you feel good. And we don't do it, so we may say, okay, they grab the other side, so they should be doing it. When they are from a broken home or they are under peer pressure, they want to feel nice, so they go towards the jobs that will normally let them feel nice. So we have to train them from a young age to understand certain stuff, so that when they are old, they can say no. So I like the point where I says no, no, no. But in order for them to say no, they must know why and what they are saying no to are more. So I believe that educating our young children about primary age. As I told you, one of the mistakes that we made is that we believe that they are so topic too hard for our children. Well, I have two well, one is 7, one is 8 level, two levels, and they can do some stuff on the internet that I can't do. Believe it or not. And I said, but if some certain stuff is so hard for them at this stage, suppose that they are really advanced, because we say, okay, then I'm waiting until they reach certain age and I will talk to them about it. No. Talk to them from their own 2, 3, when they understand, when they walk with them and they see people smoking, they will say, Mommy and Daddy, I see oxygen are so and so smoking. Why? What will you say to that child who asks that question? Right? You can't just tell them, oh, they are bad people. No, we can't do that. Right? You have to find unique ways of helping the child understand why that person is smoking, why smoking is dangerous, and so forth.
All right, thank you, Elder Sinclair and Pastor, for your final points. Just before we go, a thought came to my head while Pastor was speaking. Just to remind you guys that we have something called, and I didn't find this out till I was in university. And it's really important to know. They're called edibles. So what they are is weed in cookies or brownies or gummy worms. Or when I used to go to high school, we had a lot of students that came over from other schools that would sell gummy worms soaked in weed or rum. And what call them is edibles. So not everybody who offers you food, whether it's cookies or chocolate or gummy worms, you should take from. Right, children? Not everybody who offers you cookies or, because I have big university friends who have been offered edibles, didn't know it was edibles and went crazy, literally out of their minds. And they have ended up on mental medications, going to mental hospitals, to the doctor. I've had friends who went out of their minds from edibles. And the thing about it tastes normal until you eat 2 or 3, and then it goes. Your mind goes. It goes and it doesn't necessarily come back. Right? So be careful who you accept cookies or gummies or candies or worms from. And just before I make my final point, I'm just making my final point to say that we talk a lot about how you can practically avoid. We know that any addiction, if you don't have the help of God, you are lost. Because if you don't have somebody you can go and pray and say, God, I really, really, really want to better. And I promise you, when you pray, you'll feel so much better afterwards. Because He's there just telling me, God, just make something happen that make me not smoke or make me not drink. And I promise you that He will help you to give you the strength, but only if you want Him to. Right? So it's possible, but only with God's help. 1 second, Sister Lee, because we're wrapping up. Sister Lee is still at the point? No mind. Yeah, you have 2 seconds, yes.
Page 231 says in relation to the alcohol and alcoholic drinks, the only safe course is to touch not, taste not, and handle not. True temperance teaches us to dispense entirely with everything harmful. The Spirit of God helps us to work help and assist us in perfecting Christian character while we are indulging for appetite.
Amen. And that's a perfect note to close on. Touch not, taste not, see not, hear not. You can hear drugs. Not sure. Handle not. And with that, we close. We will sing the hymn. Come the fount of every blessing, 334. To my heart to sing thy grace. Let us stand to close. And then afterwards, we'll ask Pastor to pray for us. Come the fount of every blessing, to my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, offer songs of loudest praise. Teach me ever to adore thee, make us clear thy goodness prove. While the hopes of endless glory fills my heart with joy and love. Here I raise my Ebenezer, hither by thy help above, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus taught me when a stranger, wanting from the full of love, He to rescue me from danger, interpose His precious blood. Oh, to grace, how great a debtor, daily I prostrate to thee. Let thy goodness, like a fetter, binds me closer still to thee. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave thy God I love. Here's my heart, so take and seal it for thy voice above.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we want to give thee thanks for your many blessings in our lives. We want to thank you that we could have come and worship you collectively and modestly. Thank you for your sustaining grace. Thank you for fresh air, for sunshine and rain. Thank you for these young people at one piece. We ask that you continue to bless them, continue to strengthen their faith in you. Lord, you know their needs, you know their wants, you know their ups and downs. I ask that you be a fence around them. Keep on the force of darkness around them, oh God, as we go through this pandemic. We ask that you be with them, provide and protect them. Bless the leadership of this church. Continue to be with us as a church family. Take us home safe. Give us a good night rest. In Jesus' name.
Let the words of our mouth and meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, for our strength and redeemer. Amen. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Good evening.